lounging, son.
Anyways, welcome back to the Comic Knowledge Podcast. My name's Ryan, and with me, as always, is my boy Dill. We're gonna talk some comics today. As always, our favorite books of the week. We had mentioned we were gonna do 5, which was kind of a bit much. So the Amelia Clark, Marguerite Bennett, and Layla Leaz, the Mother of Madness book. It was just too much to read in such a short period of time. So we'll give a shout out to her. I definitely, it was a cool book. Like I told Dylan before we were recording, it was better than I expected because I had low expectations, to be honest with you.
Very low expectations.
I usually do with books like this with celebrities attached, except when their names are Keanu. Then I have higher expectations. But
the highest
of expectations, yes. But you know what? I will give her this. I like that she wrote a little letter in the back. I don't want to ruin it for anybody if you have or haven't read it. I think it's. I don't even know how I would recommend it for like the genre of what the book is, but it's. I guess it's worth checking out. If you're kind of interested in it or you like Amelia Clark, check it out. I think that she's genuine.
It seems like a genuine comic book fans comic. It's not like she's doing it for a money grab or whatever. But
I mean, she don't need the money, man. You know what I mean?
She don't.
She was in the Terminator franchise, Game of Thrones, Star Wars franchise, and she's coming to Marvel. So I think
she's collecting the movie Infinity Stones right
now. She just needs to fucking do DC and then adapt her Image book.
Yeah, and right. What else is a major franchise? She used to be in a Fast and Furious movie. That's it. When she does all those.
Or Jigsaw needs to kill her in Saw.
Or she needs to become Jigsaw.
Or she becomes the female Jigsaw. Anyways, we're going off the rails as always. But we're gonna talk about the books we did read, and the ones we're going to talk about, like we said last week, Superman and the Authority I'll read the credits now so we don't have to do it later.
Yeah.
Superman and the Authority by Grant Morrison, Mikel Janin and Jordi Belair, Blue and Gold by Dan Jurgens and Ryan Sook, Moon Knight by Jed McKay, Alessandro Capuccio, Rochelle Rosenberg, and Corey Pettit. And then, of course, we have the Skybound X as we're continuing our read-through with this weekly series. The usual people, Robert Kirkman, Ryan Otley, Cliff Rathburn on the Rick Grimes story. We got Murder Falcon by Daniel Warren Johnson, Mike Spicer, Science Dog by Robert Kirkman and Corey Walker, Assassination by Kyle Starks, Erica Henderson, and there's a whole slew of creators attached to that as well. And since I ended with that, let's start with the Skybound. Just kind of briefly.
Yeah, let's do a brief.
Because these could be full episodes. Obviously, we're reading a book that has 4 stories in it, 8 to 10 pages each. Again, like we've been saying, I'll reiterate, I'm a huge Skybound fan. I love what they're doing. I love the diversity in genres and titles that they produce, the creators that they have attached to their books, and this has been
the risks they take with these certain titles. Murder Falcon.
Oh yeah, you haven't read Murder Falcon. It is
no, I haven't read Murder
so Falcon. Good. It is so good, and that is definitely something I was going to suggest after I read this while I was reading, and I'm like, okay, I know we're taking a break from recording, but we're gonna read that because like I want to reread it. I've only read it the one time, but it is so effing good, dude. It is like I know you're gonna like. I already know you're gonna read the first issue. And you're gonna
suggested to me like multiple times by one person in particular. Luke, shout out to Luke. He's like, there's one book. It's like, oh, bro. If there's only one book I'm ever gonna suggest to you, bro, it's Murder Falcon, bro. Oh, so sick.
I mean, it is. It's a great story, and I can't wait to read it again and talk about it with you. As always, the Rick Grimes story is good. I like that the series.
It's so off the wall.
It's crazy. I mean, you have Andrea coming back, blasting the fucking mayor. You got Negan, who's now his bat. Lou and Seal fucking split off. I mean,
he has a little He-Man moment. It's great.
Yeah, it's it's just fun. It's
Yeah,
I would read a Rick Grimes 2000 monthly series. I'm not saying that they're going to do it. I'm sure this is the beginning and end of it when issue 6 of Skybound X drops. That's it. That's probably all we'll see of it. But I mean,
it's so
it's been fun.
ridiculous.
Yeah. And Skybound, this whole Skybound X series, right? Like, we're talking about Rick Grimes, we're talking about the Science Dog, Assassination, and Murder Falcon. This whole Skybound X has been such a great look at the past, present, and what we're going to get in the future. And I think that that's what's been really cool. And for me as a fan, I've been excited. Now, so far, this was not my favorite issue of Skybound X. I feel like the first two, I was a little bit more excited because we had more new concepts. This was a good issue. It just, so far, it wasn't my favorite. Because Science Dog, like, he's from Invincible. Corey Walker, who is the co-creator of Invincible with Kirkman.
And Otley.
Otley's not a co-creator.
Oh,
Otley's just, no. Otley is just the majority of the book. He did the art. He comes in issue 7.
Oh, yeah, so, you're right.
So, that's right. It's cool that, they've taken a character that was a comic book character in the Invincible comic, and they've made stories from him from there. The Murder Falcon, like we were touching on, Daniel Warren Johnson, one of my favorite creators over the past few years that I've learned about. And then, Assassination, I don't know much about that. Kyle Starks, Erica Henderson, I know the creators. Kyle Starks wrote the book we just read recently, Six Sidekicks of Trigger Keaton. So,
he definitely has a theme.
So, like I mean, I enjoyed this book. I think the Rick Grimes 2000 and the Murder Falcon were my favorite, and then it goes Science Dog, Assassination. But yeah, I think it's a fun book. I just really quickly wanted to thoughts on the 4 stories because, like, I don't think we need to dive too deep into it, but
right.
What did you think?
I mean, I loved it. It was great. It was like all 3 of those books, all 3 of the stories in there, aside from the Rick Grimes story, those are books I've never read. So once again, they're still maintaining that certain level of mystery and mystique, but with not giving away too much from the main story. Like the Murder Falcon. I want to read Murder Falcon.
Oh yeah, it's nothing. You have like no idea what to expect.
Yeah, exactly.
He did, and that's Daniel Warren Johnson sitting in that guitar shop.
Yeah,
what
I like too is all the deceased rock legends at the end. Like, so I'm like, yo, that's pretty cool. Like, I see Dimebag there. Like, like, oh man, like, let's go. But it definitely like piques the interest. You know what I mean? And that's what these books are set out to do. These books are supposed to give readers like myself who hasn't read some of these titles, give them enough to be interested in it, right? So it's still maintaining that. And and I agree with what you said, that this, issue 3 of Skybound was definitely a little less hype than the other 2, but I mean that still doesn't take away the hype that I have for 4, 5, 6.
Oh, of course not.
We're at the halfway point too. So, like, I have a feeling that Kirkman and Friends are going to finish off strong. So, yeah, there you have it.
Yeah, I mean, again, like, I think that it's a great anthology series. We don't get enough anthologies in comics nowadays. I know that, we have, well, I guess
the black and whites, black and gold, red, black and blood,
Urban Legends.
Urban Legends
has been phenomenal, by the way. Shout out to that book. But yeah, so I like that. It's just what's even crazier is to see that there's 6 issues and there's this many titles that they have in their stable that they can fucking either spotlight on or introduce to us for the first time, like the Machine Boy story, the Tilly Walden, which is in the Walking Dead universe, but a new character that has never been in the comics, was only in the Telltale games. So I mean, I can't wait to see. I know there's supposed to be an excellent story. A customer came in yesterday and he's like, oh, it was supposed to be in issue 3, right? And I was like, I don't pay attention to the solicits. You know what I mean? Like, I try not to spoil myself too much. I looked at the back of the issue, and that's what told me what was going to be in the next one. You know what I mean? Like, I really try to steer away from that. I think you've kind of helped me with that, with you telling me.
It's fun.
It's more of a surprise. And, like, with the internet, like, sometimes you inadvertently spoil yourself. And So it's like I'm already like I have that, so I'm like I'm not gonna read the solicits. Like I think I mentioned it with the Joshua Williamson doing Deathstroke Inc. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll get it. I'm gonna get it. Like I don't need to know much more than that. Slade
Right.
Wilson, written by Joshua Williamson, sign me up. You know, Superman and the Authority, Grant Morrison, Mikel Yanin, sign me up. You know what I mean? Which let's jump into that right
Let's
now.
jump into that.
You start.
We all know how I feel about Superman. He's just recently become like something solid in my life recently. Mm-hmm. But I have no idea what's going on. Like, you know, like jumping in, I had no idea what's going on with Superman. All I know is he's not like in the thing in the shit right now.
Right. So
but like
spoiler alert before we're gonna have to spoil the story because there's no way to talk about it without saying it. First off, it opens up and we're in 1963 with a young Superman. If you see the cover, you see that he's got gray on the sides of his hair. So that should be a clue that we're dealing with an older Superman. My only thing was I didn't know that Superman was going to be in 1963 to open the book up, and him being older is in present day. That right there, I'm like, God damn you, Grant Morrison. God damn you. Like, I was like, how? Because I thought at first when I was looking at the cover, I'm like, how is he a part of continuity? Okay, whatever. He's not in the main Superman title anymore. John's going to be in that title, but he's still in action and he's still young. How is this taking place? I'm like, is this the Kingdom Come Superman? Because the logo is similar to the Kingdom Come.
Yeah.
But that's also not touched upon in here. I don't know. Mikel Yanin's art too. This dude just keeps leveling up and leveling up. Phenomenal.
I love how it opens with JFK.
yeah,
and awesome. I totally read it not as JFK, but like as like a really bad impersonation of JFK. Kind of sounds like Mayor Quimby from The Simpsons. I'm committed to putting Americans and an astronaut on Mars. And then, you know, it goes into this whole story how, like, you know, like, what I really like too, it's like, it's literally JFK. And he's like, I have plans. And Superman's like, oh, you want me to run security in Dallas? You should have ran security in Dallas, bro.
Yeah. I know, it's crazy because, like, what a genius way. Okay, you have Superman in the past. You have him talking to President Kennedy, which obviously Superman in the comic books, maybe not recently because everybody hated Trump, but you have a history of Superman being in, like, not connection, but like having that rapport with the President of the United States, right? Because he's all about truth, justice, and the American way. Yeah. And I think it's what a great way to kind of get Superman off the board in such a fucking key moment in history with the president that you're showcasing, because you're like, no, I need you over there. I'll be fine.
I'll be fine in Dallas.
Yeah, and then you get the fucking. I love that it's like a film reel, right? That was pretty dope.
Yeah, that
cool little touch, you know. Yeah, and the moon landing, because he sent Superman with the moon landing, so Superman is there when they go to the moon.
He's clapping for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, humans. I've been here already, but it's cool.
So I just think that a great opening, right? And then we jump to the present day, and I don't know if you're familiar with Manchester Black.
I'm not familiar with Manchester Black,
so he's a more
I feel like he's a C-list villain.
He is, but his power set is crazy. So. Yeah.
It's kind of like the Purple Man. How the Purple Man is like a C-list villain, but
a joke,
written correctly, it's crazy.
But yeah, Manchester Black, when he was introduced in Action Comics 775, I believe is the issue.
Oh, so he was deep in. He was deep in. He's like a relatively modern character.
Right. I think it was. Oh man, I really hope I'm. Joe Kelly. Ooh. I believe it was Joe Kelly that introduced him on his run. Let me double check. I don't want to fucking get this wrong.
Papa Joe.
Let's see if my comic history knowledge is on point. Boom, suck it. Yes, it was Joe Kelly that created it. I'm leaving this. I should leave that in. That was classic Ryan. So anyways, so Joe Kelly created him, and it was all about, you know, he was a part of a group called the Elite, right? And he was all about questioning like the American way. It's like one of the best single issues I've ever read. One of the best Superman comic books I've ever read. I highly recommend go pick up. It's not like expensive or anything, but really great story.
Speculators go crazy because Ryan said so.
So, anyways, he was also, I feel like he was a part of the Justice League when Joe Kelly was writing it with Doug Mahnke on art, and so like this dude's been around. He hasn't been around in a while, and I feel like he may have had brief appearances like over the past like maybe 10 years. I'm not sure too much on that, but great character. And Nick kind of pointed out to me that he feels like Grant Morrison is putting himself into Manchester Black. Like this is Grant Morrison talking. Looking back, I'm like, okay.
I see that.
I can see that. You know what I mean? Like,
I totally see that.
I could totally see. I totally see a young Grant Morrison with purple hair, fucking passed out from being drunk. You know what I mean? Like that totally feels right.
Yeah.
But like snarky. I said, like, but you see like this dude's getting attacked right in his fucking home, and you see like the way his powers work, right? Like he takes out this entire fucking like battalion of soldiers with his psychic abilities, and seeing what he does to them, how he like makes them fucking see shit. Like I love the depiction of that, and like the way that the chaoticness that Yanin kind of gets across when you flip that page, right, as like you see that like they're fucking being controlled, and then they start seeing fucking like robots and shit come out. I thought that was super dope, dude. I fucking really like that.
Excellent depiction.
Yeah. And then fucking he gets taken down. That panel with, he says, "I'll take over now," and you just see some dude, you see a shadowy figure, and you know who it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know exactly who it is.
But that fucking image right there was fucking so menacing, and a fucking image that you don't normally associate with Superman, I think, which is pretty cool.
Shadowy red eyes. Yeah. But what I really like too is how he made the inside of the Fortress of Solitude look like. How it's not just like just a glacier. It actually looks futuristic. It actually looks like it'd be Kryptonian. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's an excellent establishing shot. So I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, he's got multiple Green Lanterns in there.
Yeah.
Did you notice that at the bottom?
Yeah.
Like there's 3 of those motherfuckers, dude. And this is a Superman that his powers are diminishing. He's older. Some shit has gone down in the past. Like there's like a whole past. There's a whole like I'm assuming. I could be wrong. Obviously Superman ages differently, but he's got to be, if he was like, let's say he was in his 20s in 63.
Yeah.
He's got to be like
70s.
70s?
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
no, he'd be like 80.
No.
He's like
he'd
6
be like
years.
80. Yeah,
he'd be like 80, right? Like,
yeah.
So the Justice League is long gone. They're not around. You know what I mean? And like now Superman like is going, like that's the whole setup of this book is he is recruiting a new type of team to help him do whatever it is that he wants to do. You know what I mean?
Whatever his grand little super plan is.
Right. Like he realizes he fucked up in the past, and he needs to make good on that promise that he made to President Kennedy all those years ago.
Ask not what your country could do for you, but what your Superman can do for your country. Good. I hope that when you read it going forward, that you hear Mayor Quimby.
Well, as I was looking at the pages, I was hearing Mayor Quimby in my head. So,
but like what I really like too is the back and forth between Manchester Black and Superman. Like, because Manchester Black, obviously, like, just doesn't like everything and anything about the whole Superman, where he stands and how he stands. And like, I think it's a great metaphor that like he's kind of crippled and Superman is standing, but yet he still is like pointing the finger, like, you know, you're wrong, like, you know, you and your stupid, like, whatever the hell your beliefs are, like, you know, I'm not the only one that doesn't like you, like how it's kind of like a portrayal of America, right? America and how it stands and how America thinks they're above, how the world itself views America, certain people, you know what I mean? And I think that's a fantastic metaphor there. Like that's an excellent that's an excellent shot. And, you know, I feel like Grant Morrison and Mikhail Janine definitely did that on purpose.
Oh yeah, dude. I feel like Grant Morrison does this a lot where he's like commentating on whether it's like the character themselves kind of like in a meta way or the industry itself. He does that so good. He does that like nobody does it like Grant Morrison. I mean you can try to emulate it, but he's so hard to replicate. It's so hard to replicate what he does with the comic book form. And I'm so sad that this is like his last DC project, at least for the time being. Like he's taking a break, and you know that's fine. Like I guess go do film. There's plenty of stuff for me to read again over and over.
Yeah, there's plenty of stuff. There's no shortage of Grant Morrison works. Like Grant Morrison has like touched on some of the greatest DC characters ever and been a part of some of like the craziest freaking story arcs. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, Grant Morrison would definitely have to be like in my top 5 of all time. Like him or not. Like sometimes his since his works can be a little sordid and be a little confusing, but at the end of the day, like his great stuff outshadow just. I mean, for the most part, for the people who I know read comics for a while and know Grant Morrison, there more often than not, there's more love than there is either hate or confusion. Because there's a couple of titles that I'm like, what is happening?
I know. There's a Vertigo book that I tried to read not that long ago, and I'm like, what the fuck was he doing, dude? You know what I mean? Like, and then like I read the first book of The Invisibles, which there was that whole lawsuit type thing because like he said that the Matrix ripped off his ideas from that book. I can't remember everything I read in that first book. It was years ago, but my brother had the trades, and he's like, I couldn't get into it. I'll give them to you, and I was like, okay.
Right.
So he gave me the entire run of Invisibles, and I have it on my nightstand. That's like it's next up after the current fucking thick omnibus I'm reading right now. But I just love his writing. I love how he calls Superman out. It's like you were at your peak back in the day. You and the Justice League could have done more, and you didn't. Like, just it's fucking powerful, dude. His writing is always top notch. I still haven't finished Green Lantern season 2. I was waiting for it to finish because what he did with Green Lantern with Liam Sharp again.
Yeah,
he was commentating on, I think in the Black Stars 3-issue series that bridged the gap. He was fucking. You could see he's commentating on it in the Multiversity. He commentates on the fucking. I mean, it's so good.
And like, you know, one of my favorite Batman runs of all time is the Grant Morrison run. One of the best Batman runs ever.
Oh, agreed. His
X-Men. Good. His X-Men. Oh,
come on now, dude. Like, if Hickman doesn't write an X-Men book, Grant Morrison's run is my favorite X-Men run in comics. Now I have to wait till it's over. I'm not going to say Hickman's is my favorite because he's not done. So I'm not going to judge a body of work. That would be like saying Zdarsky's Daredevil is my favorite Daredevil of all time when he hasn't even finished his story. So Morrison is just, you know, always going to be a favorite of mine. He's always going to, if he puts his name on a book, I'm always going to pick it up. And I highly suggest you guys do the same thing.
And Superman the Authority is no exception. It's good, dude. It's good. I like this. I like the whole Phantom Zone escapees. Like it's some really cool stuff. I'm not gonna ruin it, but like
it's just a dope book. It's well written and beautifully illustrated, amazingly colored. Lettering is on point.
Can we talk about Supes' new suit? I love that thing. Like you said, it has definitely has the Kingdom Come logo, but everything about it is just fresh and new, and like I love it. This is definitely one of the better super suits.
Agreed. And you know, like we said, like I think the thing we didn't touch on, but I'll just briefly say is like we don't know how this takes place, how this affects continuity, but you know what? I don't even care because as of now in DC, it's an omniverse and everything matters, and you don't need to just, oh man, how does this fit in? Like at first I was like, how does it fit in before I read it? But now it's like, well, I don't care. Like this is just a Superman story. It doesn't say Black Label, so it's definitely in somewhat continuity, right?
Yeah.
So I can't wait for the next issue.
Yeah, same. I want to know who's in the shadows.
Yeah.
Like I have no idea. It could be anybody. It could really be anybody.
Yeah, I think it's Luthor. That's my guess. Is an old Lex Luthor with his fucking crazy hair.
That'd be great. I would love that. I would absolutely love that.
Yeah. So
but
read it. Go pick it up. Next up, Blue and Gold. Blue and Gold. I've been waiting for this, bro. I've been waiting for this book for a very long time. I was pissed when Ted Kord died because, and this is another book I want to read with you. I don't know if you've ever read The Justice League from '87. Post-crisis, it was with Blue and Gold, Guy Gardner, Batman, Black Canary, Mr. Miracle. It was the funny Justice League. It was the one that became Justice League International eventually.
Okay.
By Keith Giffen, JMD Matisse, and Kevin Maguire. I think you are going to love it. It is, to me, it's like for Justice League, it's Grant Morrison and it's that run. Two completely different kinds of runs, right? But the fucking Justice League from '87 is so funny to the point where you probably will laugh out loud. It's it's the series that has the famous punch when Batman takes Guy Gardner out with one punch and just knocks his ass out on the floor.
Yeah.
I definitely want to read that with you, but so like that's why this series has been like I've been waiting for them to do like a book that's in that vein. Dan Jurgens created Booster Gold, and Blue Beetle was dead after Infinite Crisis for a long time. We had Jaime Reyes took over. Ted Kord's been back, but he was like not really Blue Beetle, and that's kind of touched upon in here. But Booster Gold is always trying to make a buck off of being a superhero. And now with technology, like this is just brilliant. I don't know why
I love it.
Took so long. I don't know
why. He basically has a superheroes OnlyFans.
Yeah, to watch it, and then the best part about it is that we get to see the commentary by the people watching them.
I feel like I'm all the negative comments. Because like I told you, without reading Jeff Johns' Booster Gold, it's Jeff Johns, right? That wrote a good Booster Gold.
Jeff Johns co-wrote the first arc, and then Dan Jurgens actually wrote that series for the majority. Yeah.
Okay. Well, like I said, like I still have to read that. So as of right now, my feelings on Booster Gold are still the same. I don't like them. I don't like.
Okay. All right.
Like so, you know what I mean? Like I haven't read that yet, so I can't sit there and say like, oh, I like them, but like I feel like I'm all the negative comments. It's like, oh, died, he's gonna die. He's gonna die. That's it. YOLO.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I mean, like I can understand why you don't like him. I mean, I think there's a large amount of people that probably aren't exactly Booster Gold fans. He's definitely like.
I love the Blue Beetle. I love Ted Kord. Ted Kord is great. like seriously. Like I'm okay with Blue Beetle. You know, and Blue and Gold. Like honestly, like the last time I was Heroes in Crisis, right? Heroes in Crisis. Like where Heroes in Crisis where it didn't stick the landing. There are certain aspects of it that I liked, and the Blue and Gold aspect is definitely a part of it that I liked. You know, I like that. I like their.
I like that.
I liked how it was a friendship first before anything else. You know, I like that. That was cool to me, and now to see it in this. In a whole new different way. I love it. It makes me want to read Booster Gold more now because now I want to find out more, you know.
All right, we'll read it too. I have I'm the trade's right like to the left of me too. I have they're hard to find, they're out of print, but I think that if you read that series, you will like Booster Gold. Like I wasn't a Booster fan because of that Justice League run. I liked the banter between Blue and Gold. You know what I mean? Like, I'll just say Blue and Gold instead of Booster Gold and Blue Beetle. But like their friendship, they almost didn't belong, and you know what I mean? Like they constantly like do we really fucking belong on this team, like the Justice League? So it's like it was always that, and that's even touched upon in here too, right? Like Booster Gold wants to be on the team again, and the whole thing is him. His superhero OnlyFans is he's going to save the Justice League. They're trapped in this giant fucking robot that's attacking the city, and you got his Skeets, which is his fucking flying robot that's always with him.
I love Skeets.
And I think I told you this before. Like they're not touching upon it here. I don't know if this is going to be a factor, but Booster Gold in that series that took place before the New 52, he stopped being a joke. Like, he was always viewed as a joke. Like, you know what I mean? Like, nobody took him seriously. But then he became the guardian of time. And he kept posing as a fool so that nobody would discover him. The only person that figured it out was Batman. And Batman's like, why do you act like this? Like, I know what you did. I know
like, why are you this way?
Because, like, there's even an issue, dude, like, where he's going back in time to fix, like, it's kind of like what Marvel's doing with the time variance in the Loki show. Like, he's fixing things in the past or the future. Like, he fixes problems in the timeline. One of them, he goes and he tries to save Barbara Gordon from getting crippled, and he can't change it. And he tries over and over again. And it's one of the best issues of that run. It's fucking so good. I think it's in volume 1 or maybe volume 2. I don't know. But, so like that's when I realized, like, oh man, Booster Gold, like, they turned him in from what he was, which was a joke, and they made him into a character that is so lovable, and it's easy to see why people can attach themselves to him and be a fan, and like, so I think that, and Dave Jurgens did a lot of that work, and he obviously he created him, so he holds a special place in his heart, and I think it comes off when he's writing. It's so clear how much fun he's having writing this book, dude. It's evident throughout. The humor is all there. The banter between Blue and Gold is there. Him talking to Skeets, like, it's just, and the art is phenomenal. Ryan Sook is one of the most underrated artists in comics. I don't feel like people talk about him enough. And his work, I became a fan when he drew a Spectre book, when Hal Jordan was the Spectre back in like the early 2000s, man. And his art was way more like Mignola-esque. I'll say that. A lot of shadows, right? Like, and he did a lot of work in the BPRD universe, Hellboy universe. But I think that his action, his pacing, everything that he does in here is just so spot on. He gets the facial expressions down pat.
Oh, yeah, like, super spot on. I mean, super spot on. Like, there's such a wide range of facial expressions and a wide range of just variance in faces. Like, even when he draws the Justice League, even when he draws pedestrians, even when he draws like expressions between between Blue and Gold. Like, there's a wide range. That's something I noticed early on too. Like, he definitely that definitely hit a mark for me. The art definitely hit a mark for me. But yeah, it's fun. I strongly suggest reading this. Anybody and everybody reading this. This is a lot of fun. Like I said, this makes me interested in Booster Gold.
Yeah, and I'm glad. I hope that turns more people on to the books. I mean, we'll read that too. I want to read it with you because I want to talk to you, but I want to see what your thoughts are, because I don't think I'm overhyping it. I think it's a really good book. You know what I mean? Like, but you also, it's not like you don't ever hear people talking about that book either. I feel like it's a cult hit, kind of, even though it's not that obscure. But it was never a book that people talked about either. And it ran for like over 40 issues. So it lasted, you know what I mean? It was a good run.
And this is the New 52 run?
No, it's before.
So it's before the New 52 run.
Yeah,
and
it takes place. Run
is the one where he's the keeper of time.
No. He didn't have a New 52 book. So it was, the first arc was called 52 Pickup, and it took place after 52 because in 52, the weekly series, he was one of the main characters.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And that's where you started getting him with Rip Hunter, the Time Master, right? Like, and he started working with him, and he was trying to, like, and there was like a whole mystery going on, and there was a chalkboard with like all these hints of what was going to continue to take place, and he didn't know what they were. It was, I mean, like, if you haven't read 52, you have to read that also. Like, that's another great series. Greg Rucka, Mark Waid, Jeff Johns.
The goats.
Yeah, like just like what a fucking like.
Damn, the goats.
Renee Montoya, that's where she becomes the question because she starts palling around with Vic Sage, and then he's dying, and he kind of like trains her, and she takes over. But yeah, this all takes place prior to 52, and Booster Gold didn't get another series when they relaunched, which I was kind of upset about. But I highly recommend it. I keep talking about it, but it's just so good, and there's the last couple pages I loved, like, because he wants to be in the Justice League, and he's like he thinks they're gonna ask it.
But that just shows you how much of a pal
Blue Beetle. Yeah, I don't want to spoil that, but it's such a great moment. It was such a great moment.
That's the thing. They're not just friends; they're pals.
Yeah, because I feel like if it was you and I would probably be the Booster Gold, and people would probably not want me around. I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, I'm comfortable saying that. People would probably ask you before they would ask me, and I'm fine with that. And that's just who I am.
I deny it. I deny it. You take it's blue and gold or nothing, bro.
Yeah, fucking A, dude. Fucking A. So check that book out. I mean, I know I kind of took over the conversation about Blue and Gold, but I just love the book so much. I think it's so good, and like that's 2 graphic novels that I want to read with you now because of that, and I think that you're gonna enjoy both.
We'll put that on the list.
Yes.
Well, that's something that's been a bit on the list since I heard it was announced. The Mighty Moon Knight.
This cover, dude.
Yeah, dude.
All the covers.
The Sick Cabbage cover. Dude,
so good.
They are going ham with this title. And again, we don't read solicits. I have no idea what this is about.
No clue.
But just the start of it. Starts off with Mr. Knight. Welcome to my midnight mission. My name is Mr. Knight.
Yeah.
How can I help you?
Yeah. This was a great intro. Yeah. This is how you do a first issue. This was not like, I'm not going to say that it was a 10 out of 10. I won't go that far.
It was a 10 out of 10 for me.
But it's bordering on that for
unashamed.
me. Well, because I've read like other Moon Knight where I'm just like, you're probably going to turn it to a 10 for me. I'm like right on the edge of a 10. I think that this is how you do a first issue for a character. For somebody that's not familiar with Moon Knight, if I knew nothing about Moon Knight, you gave me enough of the backstory without making an issue of just his origin, retelling it, to make me want to come back. And the writing was good, but my God, the art was amazing. I don't know where this dude came from. But holy shit. So fucking good, dude. The costume has never looked better.
Yeah.
To me.
The cape has never looked cooler.
With the fucking moon? Like, I know they've done that before.
They've done that, but I thought it was like kind of... But it's been kind of lame. It's been kind of lame how they've done it before. This one's like... great. And what I like, how it starts off with that first page, right? Yeah, it starts off with Moon Knight attacking a bunch of vampires. And for those, if you're familiar with Moon Knight, his stuff has always been with the supernatural because he's the avatar of an Egyptian god, right? So his first appearance was in Werewolf by Night. Like he's always dabbled in the supernatural. He's definitely. I'm glad that they're giving him a series because I feel like out of all like the aspects of the Marvel universe that the MCU has touched on, supernatural hasn't been that. They haven't really hit the supernatural yet. I mean, you can say that they've done with Doctor Strange more or less, but not so more much. Or less, but not so much. Like Moon Knight is a fantastic addition to their already illustrious set of movies and television series. Like, I think it's gonna be awesome. I hope they use Werewolf by Night. I hope that the Midnighter is used. Like,
dude, I feel like this character was born from that 70s Marvel like supernatural fucking sub-universe, right?
Yeah.
You had Blade, you had Moon Knight, Werewolf by Night, you had Son of Satan, Ghost Rider, like all those.
And this is around, this is around the time where they kind of like reinvented the Ghost Rider too. Like, they
right.
Yeah, they made Ghost Rider a little bit more gritty. This is also around the time when like Daredevil with the whole stick and stone thing was going on in the hand. Like there was a lot going on in the Marvel universe where it was just like all supernatural and Moon Knight was born out of that. And it's great too because but people ask me like, oh, what do you think of Moon Knight? Like, oh, like the Moon Knight show. I was like, oh, you mean Egyptian god schizophrenic Batman? I'm down.
Dude, I think you remember when I said I think Miss Marvel is going to be a breakout hit, right?
Yeah.
I think people are gonna fucking
first off,
all
it's
over
Oscar,
this.
First off, it's fucking Oscar freaking Isaac. Like,
I just hope that they do the split. Like that's something that we haven't said yet. The split personality aspect.
What's it? Dissociative personality disorder.
There we go. Yeah.
I know. I dissociative. Identity disorder.
Okay, yeah. So it has so many different identities. Like even within this book,
yeah.
You open up, he's sitting in the white suit, right?
If you read Warren Ellis's run, like you know exactly what that means.
And then he's fighting vampires full on Moon Knight costume.
Yeah.
And then when it shows you in the past how he got it from Khonshu, he was a mercenary. He's been a cab driver. Like, he has so many identities, and that's what makes him like such an interesting character to read. And Jed MacKay, dude, I want to talk to this dude. I want to reach out to him because like he's getting some fucking pretty, to me as a comic book fan and to you as well, I would imagine like he's getting high profile books, at least for us.
Yeah.
Right? To me, Moon Knight is like kind of a high profile book, considering the fact that he's going to have a show. So if a character is going to have a show or a movie and you're on that book, there's going to be eyes on you, dude. Kelly Thompson's Black Widow is a perfect example. Like that's why that thing got delayed. That book was supposed to drop same month or month before, month after, right around that time of the release of the movie.
Yeah.
And they held it back for the longest time.
Yeah.
You know,
which is ridiculous because it's a fantastic book, but Moon Knight.
Oh god, dude, I know.
It hits all the notes for me, dude. It hits all the notes. Like it, they're like, especially Mr. Knight. Mr. Knight was definitely the psychiatric the therapy sessions with Mr. Knight and his Avengers appointed therapist.
Yeah, it's awesome. I know.
It was like, this is a requirement by the Avengers that I talk to you. Like, so obviously I deal in special cases. So you are a special case. And I really like how nonchalant and how like candid he is. It's like it definitely touches back to the Warren Ellis Mr. Knight. All you're missing is a stash.
Yeah, I think that the therapy sessions are some of my favorite pages, like you said. I love the action in the book. But I love when the there's like, you started a church, and he's like, a mission. You know what I mean? Like, he cuts her off. And then he's like, I'm the high priest of conscience. She's like, but aren't you Jewish? He's like, my father was a rabbi. I was a war criminal. Contradictions are nothing new for me.
Yeah.
Fuck. Bars, dude. Bars.
Yeah, bars. Bars all day. It's like, he's very honest. He's very candid. This is good, and like, this is just one layer of one of his personalities. Like, okay, I don't know if anybody on the internet is familiar with this, but Moon Knight memes are some of my favorite memes because they totally fit whatever you're trying to convey because of his multiple personalities. And and not to mention his interactions with Dracula, but that's a whole different set of Moon Knight memes. He is such a multi-layered character, and you can give him as many layers as you want because of the simple fact that he is so deranged. There are so many personalities, and these are the personalities that we're only touching on. It's been hinted before that there's more hidden in there, that there's more lying dormant.
Oh, yeah. So
like,
well, you go back to the Bendis run, remember?
Yeah.
He was like, he had a Spider-Man personality, Captain America personality, like it's the possibilities are endless for this character, and I think that full disclosure, I slashed my pull list. Like, I cut at least 15 titles
nice
from my list, I'm down to about 32 with a couple ending. There's a couple miniseries that are about to end, so I'm going to be under 30.
Yeah.
I put Moon Knight on to check the first issue out because I'm always skeptical. I'll put stuff on for the first issue, but like, how do I take this off? I cannot justify it. Like, as much as I'd want to wait for the trade, like, no, this is so good.
Like, no, dude, like, well, what sealed it for me was when he was fighting Vermin.
Yeah, where did that, like, what a random villain for him to fight.
But this taps into the whole weird supernatural creatures of the night. I am the protector of the night and those who travel by night thing. Because think about it, like, you know, that's some old school Moon Knight stuff. That's old school Moon Knight. Like to quote that, like, I am the protector of the travelers of the night, those who travel at night. And you know, he even says them. It's like, you know, you know, now you can clone yourself, and that's good. That's a good trick. It means you're never alone, unless I kill all of you right now, and I can, and I will. I'm not Spider-Man.
Yeah, I know.
I'm Moon Knight, and I don't die.
This fucking right here, dude. Like,
yeah, bro.
Like, I mean, I'm telling you.
The splash pages in this. There's so many splash pages in this too. Like, there's at least 3 to 4 splash pages that, you know, we don't see a lot of. Like, maybe we'll get 1, 2 if we're pushing it, but there's like 3 or 4 in here, and that speaks volumes for like how explosive the action is in this.
Yeah, I think the costume is like tricky to do. In my opinion, like visually, like this has got to be hard for a colorist artist to fucking portray and not make it look really flat. Like, you have to utilize shadows to kind of make it look cool. And
you have to utilize shadows, you have to utilize cross hatching. Like, you have to make them look good.
Whether he's Mr. Knight or he's Moon Knight, like, I think that this is, like I said, this might be the best I've ever seen him look, besides the Sienkiewicz.
Yeah.
You know, Stephen Platt did a pretty good job, you know, at the end. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with that stuff. I mean, that was when he was totally doing Todd McFarlane noodling and fucking cross-hatching. Like, he was part of the Extreme crew over with Rob Liefeld, and he did Prophet over there. And, like, it's just, like, just bullets. Just, like, he'd have, like, fucking a million bullets. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. Like, just fucking ton of that shit just everywhere. Just crazy level of detail. Look it up. Moon Knight 55, I think, was his first issue. He closed out the run. But this is... I love the lighting behind him too, like the moonlight shining behind him. I don't even think like
it makes him. I feel like the moonlight is what makes him glow, because he has a glow to him.
Right.
Like, usually it's just like, you know, when he, you know, and more recent iterations of Moon Knight, he's just like wearing a white suit. Whereas this, it's like he's glowing. He's literally like luminescent. He's like generating his own light.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Also, what I like about this too, I just recently read She-Hulk by Dan Slott, Volume 1, and there was a lot of obscure characters in there, and there's a lot of obscure characters in here. But there's one character that stands out: 8-Ball. 8-Ball is in this, and he was also in Dan Slott's run, and I think it's fantastic. It's one of the funniest things that there was a character who is literally a magic 8-Ball.
I mean, yeah, I think it's like what's that villain that was in Original Sin? The giant eyeball. What was his name?
Oh. It's actually a female. The giant eyeball is actually a female. I know exactly who you're talking about. The one where it's just like floating around. It was. I think I saw.
There's a female there also, but there was a guy whose head was an eyeball. She had a red orb on her head. Who you're thinking of? I think it was.
But they're the same team. They're in the same team.
They're in the same team, yeah.
With the jackal, I think the jackal and stuff. No.
I can't remember. I read it not that long ago, but it's hard to remember. But anyways, my whole point of saying it was that you have the corniest fucking villains, and you can. I love utilize these characters. Who cares if they're corny? You can either make them look really cool, or you can fucking just have them in the background as just something like that's fucking funny to see. You know what I mean? Like,
just to push the story forward.
Yeah, dude, just fucking use them. Don't just instead of using like a random criminal or a fucking thug.
Waiting for the porcupine. I'm waiting for someone to use the porcupine. Yeah, like, soon, make them menacing or make them hilarious. Let's go, porcupine.
Yeah. I mean, look at
the unicorn. Like, look at the unicorn, and look at, you know, like, look at all these old characters are starting to make a resurgence, right? Yeah. I mean, Vermin. Like, when was the last time you saw Vermin? Like, You know what I
mean? Yeah. I mean, I know he was utilized in Nick Spencer's Amazing Spider-Man, but like, it's not a character you often see either.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I remember like when McFarlane used him, he was just fucking terrifying. You know what I mean? Just it was just straight on a horror story, and perfect fit for Moon Knight, like you said. And we even get the introduction of a new villain. So spec alert. This is a first appearance apparently. I don't think anybody has nobody's latched onto it yet. Give it a couple weeks, and this book will be going for money. But
I also like how and there's a 2-page spread where Moon Knight kind of shows Moon Knight doing like his whole thing, and he's fighting vermin. Shows him fighting vermin. It also shows him how arm wrestling Frankenstein.
The possibilities of what we can see from that era of Marvel reintroduced in here, that has me excited. I'm very excited.
Like I said, the supernatural, blasting the door open for the supernatural part of the Marvel universe. Like what's great about the Marvel universe too, it's like they Dracula is part of the Marvel universe.
Mm-hmm.
Frankenstein is a part of the Marvel universe. Like Cap Wolf is like there's all sorts of these like strange, obscure characters that technically are either analogs or the actual characters, or even archetypes for like old Hollywood monsters that I'm really definitely here for. Like even Moon Knight himself, when he encounters when he saves that guy, when he encounters that guy that's beating up 8-Ball, he's like, "You're not a werewolf. You're not a werewolf, are you? You don't look like a mummy." Like he's just like going down the list of like old Universal like friggin' monsters. And what's great about this Moon Knight is, with where we are in our history and time, that like there's a lot of new kinds of horror movies. Like we have the quiet ones, we have these Conjuring movies. So this gives them the opportunity to introduce more modern concepts of like horror into Moon Knight and apply him to these kinds of new possible new villains or even new allies, right? Like this is what I love about supernatural stuff. Like I hope Ghost Rider and the Midnight Suns show up. I hope Blade shows up. Like I hope like we really get all the superhero homies, all the supernatural superhero homies to show up. Like I would even like to see like a Daredevil appearance, or even like a Wolverine appearance. Kind of like bring it back to like those old classic Marvel team ups with Moon Knight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like this is a good opportunity to kind of reintroduce some old concepts that are tied in with the character. I know they tried to launch a Ghost Rider book not that long ago, and I think the numbers weren't there, so they canceled it. I think Blade being in the Avengers, let's get a Blade book. You know what I mean? Like even a miniseries. I'm not saying you have to do an ongoing, or why don't you just run it, have an arc. Don't say whether it's a mini series or not, and see how the first arc sells. And if it's good, it sells, and continue it on. If it doesn't, then you had one volume. I think that I'm really excited to see how the exposure of Moon Knight in the comic books, along with the show, what that will kind of lead into in both, like in terms of maybe other shows or movies, and then in turn also the comics, because I think Moon Knight has been underutilized. I think he's
always been one of my favorite characters. Yeah, I've loved Moon Knight since I was a kid.
Yeah, I mean, I've always loved the design. I haven't read like every Moon Knight comic, but I've read a lot of it. You know what I mean? Whenever there is a Moon Knight book, I always pick it up. Whether it was the book by Huston and Finch back in the early 2000s, the He Who Shall Not Be Named with Declan Shalvey, Ward Ellis, fucking his run. Brian Wood also his run. I heard Max Bemis did a good job on his. You had the Bendis stuff. Like there's a history there of good stuff. Obviously Sienkiewicz. I can't forget Sienkiewicz.
Sienkiewicz is one of my favorite stuff. Like I think the Sienkiewicz Moon Knight was like one of the first trade paperbacks I ever bought as a kid. So there's something special for me. Like Moon Knight holds a very special place in
my heart. Dude, and I'm just so glad that they, a lot of people, I'm not gonna say a lot of people, but some people that I've talked to are kind of like, why Jed McKay? And my answers to them was, why not? You know what I mean? Like, why not have him write the book? Like, it's not like he's written bad stuff or he's not a good writer. Like he wrote a short story in the Spider-Man Free Comic Book Day from last year with Black Cat and Spider-Man because he's the Black Cat writer. And I loved it. I'm like, dude, this is great. This is better than any Spider-Man comic book I've been reading, hands down. And I think that, like, give this dude more work. I think that, like, we've often talked about, this is how you discover and other new creators become some of your favorites, is when they're put on books that are some of your favorite characters, and then you discover them. And I think that Jed McKay is a solid writer. I think that his writing in this was great. I think his story was intriguing enough to keep me to come back and keep it on my pull list. And the art was phenomenal. I mean, Moon Knight's in my opinion, Moon Knight is in good hands right now, and I'm excited to see what comes.
This has been a fantastic first issue. Yeah. Fantastic, and everybody needs to read it. Easy. 10 out of 10 for me. I don't care.
Okay, I'll give it a 10. I'll give it a 10 now. So let's talk about what we're going to read next week before we get out of here.
Infinite Frontier.
What?
Scott. Yeah.
That's not. Is that out next week? Yeah. Already?
Yes.
It's going to be a big week then. Let me.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Tell me what you were going to tell me.
Infinite Frontier, Skybound, Icon of Rocket.
Superman, Son of Kal-El.
Yes.
Amazing Fantasy. That's 5 books.
Amazing Fantasy.
Yeah, by Kari Andrews. It's the book with World War II Cap, Red Room Natasha, and High School Spider-Man.
Yes. Okay. That's our 5. Okay.
Is it really Infinite Frontier next week?
Yeah.
I feel like we just talked about number 2.
No. Yeah.
God damn it. Okay.
Let's fucking do it. It's okay. Gauntlet, Ryan. Gauntlet. We got this.
All right. We'll just... Yeah. We'll actually read these 5 because we don't have a choice. Skybound we'll briefly touch on. Infinite Frontier we'll briefly touch on then. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to spend too much time talking about them because it's just continuing series. But, yeah, I guess we're reading 5 books, even though we tried to do it this week and didn't do it. But we'll get it done next week. Those are all smaller, I guess, for the most part. Mom was a thick boy, so that's why we didn't read that one. Okay.
Thick girl.
Thick. I was well.
Mom was a thick girl.
I don't want to get canceled, so I don't know. I might offend somebody if I say that. So, anyways, so we're gonna read Amazing Fantasy number 1, Skybound X number 4, Infinite Frontier number 3, Icon and Rocket number 1, and Superman Son of Kal-El number 1, and this has been another episode of the Comic Lounge podcast. Hope you guys pick up those books we talked about. Join us next week. And make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at the Comic Lounge. Follow Dylan at the Dillbot on Instagram. Dillbot is dope on Twitter. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you're notified every time a new vid goes up. Hit up the TeePublic, get some Comic Lounge merch, some shirts, mugs, whatever you're into. And on that note, we're out.
Later, buds.